Imagine fighting for your literal life in a dark, blood-soaked nightmare every single night. You do this for 12 grueling years. You're hunted, you're torn apart, and killed in your sleep, only to wake up in reality, gasping for air, feeling every single ounce of that phantom pain. Now, imagine finally reaching your physical breaking point. You die from sheer exhaustion in the real world, only to wake up permanently trapped in that exact same nightmare. Welcome to this explainer, where we're breaking down the absolute rollercoaster journey of Woojin. He's a man whose literal hell just became his everyday reality. So for over a decade, sleep was basically a death sentence for this guy. But the day Woojin finally collapses, coughing blood in his apartment, he wakes up feeling completely rested for the first time in 12 years. The catch? Well, he's surrounded by towering trees and a giant terrifying lizard monster. But here's the thing, because he spent a decade fighting these exact things in his sleep, he doesn't even flinch. With one effortless, devastating strike, he just slaughters the beast instantly. His new life has officially begun. Now, Woojin's survival tactics, they are absolutely insane. He cuts open this lizard, finds a glowing blue orb inside, and instead of studying it, he just pops it into his mouth and eats it raw, like a snack. This is a monster core. It's basically a concentrated nucleus of accumulated karma pulsing inside a beast. In this world, eating these gives you powers, sure, but it also carries the horrific risk of turning you into a mutated abomination. Woojin, though, he just sees it as a free stat boost.
As he travels, Woojin actually stumbles upon an old hunter named Hector who kind of fills him in on the world's lore. Turns out there was a Dark Tower apocalypse that unleashed all these demonic beasts. But our guy's main takeaway comes when a pack of 40 demonic wolves suddenly attacks them. Woojin unleashes an aura so terrifying that the pack literally whimpers and flees, letting him casually slaughter their leader. And when Hector tells him that a single werewolf hide is worth enough gold to live comfortably for 7 whole years, Woojin realizes he's basically just discovered an infinite money glitch.
So he takes that super valuable hide to Pioneer Village looking to trade. But of course, an opportunistic scammer named Jacob tries to steal it, surrounding Woojin with a bunch of tavern thugs. Huge mistake. Woojin, who remembers a past life full of terrible bosses and stolen wages, has zero hesitation here. He brutally obliterates the thugs in a terrifying display of martial dominance. Standing over the terrified scammer, he drops this ice-cold warning. If you are going to scam someone, you should aim for the throat instead of stabbing in the back. And Woojin's overwhelming dominance doesn't just scare humans, it straight up commands monsters. Remember that massive scout wolf that had been tracking him? Well, it witnesses this entire tavern massacre and completely folds. The terrifying beast literally drops to the ground, wagging its tail, acting like a giant, deadly golden retriever. Just by leaning into pure intimidation, Woojin gains this incredibly loyal companion who he later names Rex. Moving on to his next high-paying gig, Woojin teams up with a pair of mercenaries, Jonathan and Claire, to hunt down the Mad Skull. This thing is a giant demonic boar with an impenetrable armor-like skull, and it's completely shut down a local quarry. So the big question is, how do you kill something your sword can't even scratch?
Well, you don't just swing your sword wildly, right? Using Claire's speed-enhancing magic, Woojin baits the beast into a wall. He figured out that the boar has incredible linear speed, but absolutely terrible cornering. By forcing it to slip and crash into the solid rock, he bypasses that armored skull entirely and drives his blade right into the monster's highly sensitive snout. He essentially solos a disaster-level beast and rightfully claims half of the massive bounty. Not bad for a day's work.
Realizing just how useful magic can be, Woojin asks Claire to teach him. She breaks down the 3 stages of mana manifestation for him. Feel the energy, store it in the body, and then use the power. Now, Woojin is a quick study when it comes to physical combat, but magic, that requires deep, repetitive meditation. Still, he applies the sheer grit he built up from 12 years of nightmares, and he finally manages to feel the mana. But to speed up the process, Claire attempts to push her own mana into his body to help him store it. And what happens next is truly horrifying. Claire is violently pulled into Woojin's mental world, which is basically a spiritual reflection of a person's soul. Instead of some peaceful landscape, she's confronted by total darkness and a terrifying, colossal praying mantis monster with 121 glowing red eyes just completely towering over her. The sheer dark energy nearly sucks Claire's own life force away, right before Woojin's wolf manages to pull her back to safety. Claire is in an absolute panic. She suddenly realizes the horrifying truth behind Woojin's mental horrors. See, karma is this turbid energy that corrupts living beings and causes terrifying mutations. It's actually worshipped by a sinister cult known as Dark Priests. But most dangerously, it's absorbed by eating monster cores. When Woojin casually admits that he's been eating raw cores like candy for 10 years, Claire is just floored. I mean, to literally anyone else, that concentrated karma is a lethal poison. Despite her warnings, Woojin joins a massive escort mission in the 4th Pioneer City for the heirs of a deceased tycoon known as the Golden Bug. The whole operation is overseen by the legendary Holy Knight Raymond and his arrogant apprentice, who is ironically also named Rex. Woojin sees a golden opportunity here. He steps into the city's gladiatorial arena and brutally humiliates fighter after fighter, solely to provoke the apprentice Rex into a duel. Now, Woojin's true motive isn't arena glory at all. It's a calculated move. By dominating the apprentice without even breaking a sweat, he forces Holy Knight Raymond to intervene and teach him mana arts, which is a technique to infuse a weapon with raw energy. Raymond demonstrates it with a pure, golden holy flame. But when Woojin tries it, his soul's corruption manifests the energy as a sinister, violent purple flame. It's this crazy, visceral testament to the thousands of demonic cores he's devoured over the years.
But hey, the real threat isn't in the arena. Mid-journey, absolute chaos erupts in the caravan. Turns out the Golden Bug heirs, driven by insatiable greed, have been secretly gorging on corrupted demonic meat. The result is just grotesque. Their bodies literally rupture, fuse together, and mutate into this colossal, multi-mouthed abomination. This abomination battle is pure, unfiltered chaos. Raymond's apprentice, Rex, charges in, but he's instantly killed, his arms severed by these lightning-fast, fleshy tentacles. Raymond, completely blinded by grief, is nearly killed himself. Woojin quickly realizes that standard holy magic just isn't going to cut it against this ever-shifting mass of corrupted flesh, so he steps in to take over the fight.
The beast has this constant, rapid regeneration, and it's whipping dark tentacles all across the battlefield. But Woojin orchestrates a brutal counterattack. He uses Claire's binding magic to stop the severed limbs from reattaching, and then unleashes his new, violent purple mana arts. He slices away the regenerating layers of flesh with clinical precision, over and over, until he finally exposes and shatters the creature's glowing blue inner core.
But Woojin, being Woojin, he secretly pockets a piece of that core and eats it later. And this isn't just any core. It's heavily concentrated with karma, acting almost like a rift core. Now, a rift core is a dark energy source that actually spreads the demonic realm into new areas. Consuming it hits Woojin with this incredibly violent memory flash. He sees a masked, red-haired dark priest woman forcibly pouring corrupted liquid right into the Golden Bug heir's eyes. He now knows exactly who orchestrated this entire nightmare.
Things escalate quickly when Elder Bawo arrives on the scene. He's a highly respected monk from the 3rd Pioneer City. Taking in the absolute carnage, the Elder looks directly at Woojin and utters a really chilling accusation. I smell the stench of a dark priest in this entire incident, and you can kind of see why. Our guy's rapid rise in power, his monstrous combat style, and his sheer proximity to the abominations make him the prime suspect for being a dark priest himself.
The Elder actually launches a sudden, forceful strike to test his combat reflexes, but during the hit, Woojin realizes something crazy. He isn't hurting. Why? Because eating the abomination's core just granted him rapid regeneration. Woojin can now completely heal minor wounds in just 10 minutes. He could theoretically regrow an entire limb in a month. He is literally becoming just as unkillable as the monsters he hunts. To prove Woojin's innocence, the Elder uses a technique called the Mind's Eye, projecting his own consciousness directly into Woojin's soul. And what he finds leaves him absolutely breathless. He is immediately surrounded by a horde of shadowy, blazing, red-eyed monsters lurking in Woojin's mental darkness. But ironically, because Woojin's mind hasn't completely collapsed into madness despite this overwhelming horror, the Elder deduces there's no way he's a corrupted dark priest. His mind is a fortress purely because it's already a nightmare. So his name is officially cleared. Now that he's officially cleared, Woojin gets recruited for a highly paid elite mission to hunt the dark priests, teaming up with Supreme Commander Roland. But this means he has to part ways with his mercenary team. In a surprisingly touching moment, Woojin hands over a massive pouch of gold to Claire. He's fully funding her dream to attend the prestigious Magic Tower, acknowledging just how vital her magic was to his survival. The army's march into the demonic realm is, well, it's a real study in contrasts. On one hand, you have Commander Roland using musical support buffs, literally playing a violin to cast holy enhancements over his troops. And then on the other hand, you have Woojin. His tactic? He's just out there in the trenches, slaughtering monsters and secretly munching on raw, bloody monster cores right in the middle of the chaos to steal their abilities.
He is completely baffling the conventional soldiers around him.
The army eventually arrives at a massive, incredibly deep canyon that is completely choked with thick, white spiderwebs. Roland thinks it's some sort of defensive fortress, but Woojin's instincts are screaming otherwise. I mean, why build a fortress inside a canyon covered in massive webs, right? Woojin immediately deduces the truth. They haven't found a hideout. They've walked straight into a massive, highly orchestrated dark priest trap.
And he is instantly proven right. A catastrophic, explosive ground shockwave just shatters the earth, sending knights plummeting down into the web-filled canyon. From the dust, disaster-class monsters emerge. We're talking a towering Bigfoot with physical strength that rivals the gods, a giant venomous Seleucia snake coiled around it, and massive red-eyed spiders swarming the panicked soldiers. It is an absolute, unmitigated massacre. But while everyone else is screaming in absolute terror, Woojin just grins. Looking at these disaster-class monsters, he doesn't see death, he sees a buffet of high-tier abilities just waiting to be eaten. In a massive cliffhanger, Woojin dives headfirst into the canyon abyss, sword drawn and purple mana flaring, plunging straight toward the Bigfoot. With every monster core he devours, you really have to wonder, is Woojin truly becoming humanity's ultimate savior, or is he slowly mutating into its absolute worst nightmare? Let us know what you think, and thank you so much for joining us for this